People against Koski, Susan Marie Koski, 22B 141202. All right. So I have a defendant failing to appear yesterday. Mr. Carmen, your name?
Michael A. Carmen, B73824, on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
Name, ma'am?
Susan Koski.
Where were you?
Where was I?
Yeah.
I've had very bad stress-induced insomnia, and I get up at 5 every morning and call for my urine test, but I fell back asleep. No excuse, but I'm not going to tell you something that's not true.
You were supposed to be here yesterday. You can't miss like this.
I know that, sir. I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Carmen, what do you have to say? And first of all, I had her test. Tell me she tested negative.
Yes, Your Honor, even through her admission of alcohol, she was negative at her test at on-site. However, she subsequently was a CNU for her scheduled test on March 10th. CNU means she could not urinate, Your Honor.
I urinated about this much,
Hang on.
but I could not. I'm sorry.
We never issued a warrant on this yet, right, Lisa?
No, we had not done it yet.
So I'm going to indicate do not issue bench warrant. I don't buy that. Can't urinate. What do you have to say, Mr. No,
Your Honor, just that
I don't buy it. Go ahead.
my client indicated to me that she did have an issue urinating on the one test. She has had an insomnia condition where basically she goes a long time without sleeping. And then when she finally does fall asleep, she sleeps very heavily. And so she ended up sleeping through her alarm yesterday, but came in today to try and rectify the situation and to also address the 3 allegations of the show cause. If I could speak on that.
She's already pled to those. You know that, right?
No, I did not.
Did she not?
I believe she did, and that's when she admitted that she did have alcohol, I believe roughly a day or 2 before our last hearing, which was the prompt for the test at on-site.
So, ma'am, you did plead guilty to those charges. Failing to submit to twice monthly testing is ordered on January 12th. Failure to submit to twice monthly testing is ordered on January 26th. And failure to provide proof of completing 64 hours community service by February 1. You did plead to all of those at the last hearing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I didn't write guilty. That's my recollection. Then when you're right, I ordered her to test today or that day.
Just
Okay.
please.
What do you have to say?
Your Honor, I wasn't aware that the show cause is already addressed. When was that addressed?
That was addressed, and Mr. Haynes was her lawyer. That was March the 6th. And she pled guilty, and then Ms. Wilds points out she did acknowledge somehow that she'd had a glass of wine, I think is what she said. Did she not? And so I told her she was to test that day. And now we just have this repeated, can't urinate, showing up late for court. I mean, a day late. On top of these violations, she's just not taking this very seriously. She's almost forcing my hand in. So what do you have to say?
Your Honor, just to update the court that she is doing quite a bit at the guidance center as far as treatment. She's doing an IOP, outpatient, and one-on-one with a therapist and a life coach every week. She said that she is just getting a lot out of it. She's happy that she's finally treating. It's, of course, it's not a good thing, but she said, this criminal charge was almost a blessing in disguise just because this is something that she put off for so long. Back in January, she had a nephew who was very close to her son pass away of a drug overdose. And she has been battling depression for a very long time. Seems like she's done a lot more than most people at this point, Your Honor. She did 69 total hours of community service, paid all of her fines in the amount of $1,395. Is putting a lot of work.
That's a little like saying fact that she was driving 88 on I-75 isn't as bad as people driving over 88. She's not doing very well, right? I mean, she just had 3 violations. She didn't urinate on the last test. And she shows up a day late. So they're only paying her $1.9 million if she plays professional baseball. You're not doing well, Ms. Koski. And you're going to force me to do something I don't want to do. I mean, I don't understand this. I woke up at 5 and I called to make sure it wasn't my color. And then I sleep through the whole day. Through the whole day.
Slept till 2:30.
Had court. I don't know what to do with it. I'm just being candid with you. Do we have proof she completed all those community service hours?
Yes, she did provide that at her last hearing, Your Honor, so she did all 64 hours.
I don't know what to do with it. You have any ideas?
Your Honor, my biggest concern is continued use. Mr. Carmen may not be aware, we had a prior violation, so be it a while ago, with alcohol use. Her testing has been less than great. I've worked with her on all other misses, giving her time to test, and now we're looking at absolutely no testing in January. She has a missed test in February, now a CNU in March. I am concerned about continued use of alcohol, even upon her admittance last time in court that she has continued to use, even though ordered to abstain, Your Honor.
So you have had now 2 prior violations plus these 3, that's 5. And I'm not even counting the could not urinate. I'm not even counting the fact that you didn't show up at all yesterday. Remind me, is it all alcohol pretty much?
It is, and Ms. Koski admits that she is an alcoholic. She does struggle with the use of alcohol.
And I do not drink wine, and I did not drink wine. I just said that because you were badgering me, and I said I drank a glass of
Badgering
wine.
you?
Not badgering me, but you were, I was scared, and I said I drank a glass of wine.
So
I
you're
do-
lying to the
I don't
judge and
drink
telling the
wine.
judge something different because you think the judge was badgering.
No, I just said I drank a glass of wine. I didn't drink a glass of wine. I
You
did
told
not.
me you drank. Can I tell you something? You're gonna be one of the first people to admit that they did something that they didn't do ever. I've not had that happen. I mean, I get it all the time the other way, right? I didn't drink, I didn't drug. But I've not had too many people admit that they did something that they didn't do because they felt uncomfortable with the judge's question. You're not telling me the truth, Ms. Koski. And that's what I have going on, and you're forcing my hand, and I don't want to do this, but I am going to do this. How much money, what's their income level?
I believe she is a retired nurse, Your Honor. Ms. Koski could update me, but I don't believe that she has any current active income outside of any retirement or perhaps any disability.
You're forcing me to do something I didn't want to do. Anything else, Mr. Carmen?
Your Honor, no, nothing else at this time. Thank you.
Anything else, ma'am?
I'm trying to be with honesty. I don't
You
ever
just
get,
admitted you lied to me.
but I never get to say anything like,
Well, say whatever you want. I'm not gonna, I'll listen to whatever you have to
I
say.
only had one time where I couldn't urine because I usually go in enough time. So if I can't urine, I'll go buy a bottle of water. But I went to the high school had a carnival for the little kids, and I took my grandkids where they had the cakewalk and the duck pond and everything. And I didn't get to go to urinate till 6:45, and it was really hot in the carnival. And I apparently didn't drink enough, and I could only urinate a tiny bit. And I tried, and I didn't have enough time. And it was my error because I stayed too long. But we were having a lot of fun, and I didn't have enough fluid in me to urinate. And that is my honest to God truth. And I haven't had any other trouble urinating because I go in enough time. So if I can't urinate, I go buy a bottle of something to drink and I drink it. I'm trying to be successful. I swear on everything that's sacred to me. I'm trying to be successful. I have more, to be honest with you, I have more of a mental health problems than I do have alcohol problems. I will tell you that. I really do. And I'm working on them. And I will tell you in all honesty, I would not trade my DUI for all of the therapy that I have had going through this, because I've been needing it for probably 40 years. Because I grew up in an abusive home with all the sexual and physical abuse and alcoholics and suicides and all that stuff that I'm sure you heard a million times. And I'm trying to overcome that. But I feel that my mental health issues have always been more than my alcohol, because I really never started drinking at all until my daughter. I had a handicapped daughter that died at 23. She was like a 9-month-old. And I took care of her, and I volunteered at Joe Brighton off and on for 20 years. So I've been a productive. Plus, I went back to college with 3 young kids, 1 handicapped, and had a career. So I've been a very productive, good person with no alcohol.
The day I told her to test, she could not urinate.
No, she did test.
And she did test negative.
She did test
But her
negative. It was
last-
her scheduled test.
And that's when I went to the carnival, and I didn't have enough fluid in me, in my error.
You have any other thoughts?
No other thoughts, Your Honor. Like I said, the big concern I have is the no testing. You know, even if we say, okay, she did show on the 10th and it was a CNU, so be it. You know, we confirm that there's, you know, an event, you know, for the kids' school. It's the not testing. And if she's indicating there's depression, this is where we were at the previous test, that she was positive. She started consuming alcohol in an episode of depression. So that is my biggest concern. I'm not sure that Ms. Kowski could afford something like a SoberLink where we could have day-to-day activity of alcohol testing. But her Social Security income, I did look at the time of her screening assessment, she reported it at roughly $1,700 a month from SSD, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Carmen?
Your Honor, just that my client would be willing to take another test this morning, and the court would allow.
Keep defendant on probation subject to all existing terms. She's to pay additional costs, man. You're to pay additional costs of $100. You're gonna be on a SoberLink device by the end of the day. It's a machine that you're gonna have to blow into. You cannot miss the blows. Probation will explain that by the end of the day. You're to serve 4 days jail beginning April 3rd. I'll consider suspending that. Consider suspending that if you're compliant between now and then. I'll consider converting it to community service, okay? So SoberLink device, end of the day, $100 cost. Give her a jail start date. That will be April the 3rd at 8:30 in the morning. Jail start date, April the 3rd at 8:30 in the morning. And if she's compliant, I will strongly consider converting that to community service. Can you pay the $100 today?
Yes.
Pay that today, meet with probation, go get your SoberLink. We'll give you a jail start date for that date. Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. People against
Thank you.
Neil.